I welcome you all to the CEO Talk New Delhi, Rising to the Challenges Using Technology. This is an initiative by The Talk. My name is Muthu and I'll be the anchor for the day. I'm founder of an organic cookie store named Crumbles. CEO Talk is a platform to share ideas and insights to transform organizations to create a better and transparent forum for meaningful business relationships and partnerships. This event is brought to you by Tata Tele Business Services, the country's leading enabler of connectivity and communication solutions for businesses. They offer services ranging from connectivity, collaboration, cloud, IoT security, and marketing solutions. Tata Tele Business Services offers largest portfolio of ICT services for businesses in India. I would like to start this wonderful session by introducing all the lovely panelists who have joined us today. So I know this is a virtual session, so just give a good round of applause as I introduce the speakers so that we can have the energy flow. I would like to start by introducing Mr. Mohit K. Gupta, CEO of ASM Circuits Private Limited. Welcome, sir. Thank you so much for having us. Mr. Ashok Kumar Jain, MD, Jason's Engineering Private Limited. Thank you so much for joining with us, sir. Mr. Taranjeet Singh Bhamra, CEO, AG Next Technologies. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for joining with us. Mr. Pramod Sharma, CEO, Competix. Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining with us. Mr. Harshil Goyal, CEO, founder, and Especia Associates. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for joining with us.
Thank you.
Finally, we have Mr. Taranjeet Singh from Tata Tele Business Services, business leader. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for joining with us. All right. So before we start, I would like to share a few insights with you. So this is going to be a full-length 1 hour of discussion panel session. So that is a set of questions from my side to post, and I'd like to inform to keep it a little short for the first few questions so that we can involve everyone, and also our time is very short. All right. So the rounds are going to be very simple. I'll be asking a few questions and you have to keep it a little short and crisp. All right. So for the last 1 year, dear lovely panelists, the one thing that we are hearing over and over is this word called COVID, right? So we thought that it's all going to end in just 21 days, but it's now prolonged to over a year now. So now we are at the verge of celebrating the first year anniversary of Corona. So it has been there for almost a year now, right? So that is the impact it has been created. Now, at this juncture, I'd like to understand from you, lovely entrepreneurs, how has this COVID affected your business and its impact on your revenues? This is what I would like to understand. I'd like to start with Mohit sir.
This past almost 1 year has been mixed for us. Initially, when there was a lockdown, almost 2.5 months were almost off. We were at home, we were relaxing, studying new things, trying to innovate something there. At the same time, it was a challenge for us also because we have to keep our staff on their foot also. So means we have to make sure they don't suffer moderately or in any way. But the biggest positive thing that came out after the COVID in our industry is that a kind of a scenario is there where this payment terms and credit, it got almost away from the industry. So it's mixed. Then the work from home, it created new opportunities for us. Now we can visit our client's factory virtually instead of visiting physically. So it's mixed. Overall, not bad.
Thank you, sir. Of course, there are questions that is based on work from home and other things that we mentioned in the upcoming round. So we can stick on to the basic answer for the first few rounds. So over to Harshil sir, how has COVID impacted your business and its revenues?
Thank you so much. Welcome. I welcome everyone. And we are into finance and tax consulting services. And what we have seen, we have majorly 3 types of clients when we talk about. First is multinationals and foreign subsidiary companies which are in India. And second is startups, and third is SMEs. And majorly we cater 2 types of services. One is when we talk about regular compliances. And when we talk about virtual CFO services, where we talk about a growth aspect, where we drive the business. So we have seen that nobody was talking about the growth aspect from the day Modi ji has announced on 22nd of March 2020. Everybody was just talking about let's survive. No matters, they are getting some good opportunities. We can leave the few exception cases, just like sanitizer business or mask business, or specific cases where people have grown from what their 5 year plan was. They have grown in just 5 7 months. Now when we talk about how that is affected in our business, all the growth business as virtual CFO services either stopped or put it on hold for indefinite period. But we have learned two important things. First is we always understand that tax consulting services is a kind of a physical interaction thing, where either we visit the client or client comes to our office and we discuss all these things. Now we have implemented entire team on Microsoft Teams. Now the scenario is everybody is having cloud meetings, clients are comfortable in having online meetings. And the best part is, we have seen in the past our average meeting time was more than an hour, but now due to this all online scenarios, the meeting time reduced from an hour to just 20 25 minutes. So that's the power of when we have online meetings. The transportation travel time is also reducing, plus meeting time also, we are crisp and clear in terms of having any meeting. So that's something that we have added advantage to our bouquet. And the second thing that we have added is a location barrier. For now, we are present in Delhi, NCR, Bombay, and Japan. But now we are getting inquiries from all over India and even from the globe for whatever services we provide. Now people understand that location is not an issue at all. We are getting inquiries from Chennai, we are getting inquiries from Bangalore for a lot of ESOP services we do, valuation services we do. So that's something now people are understanding, that it's not something you require a consulting firm to be near to your city or something like that. Now you can take best of the services which are available in India and they can cater to your requirements. It will be same. You are in Bangalore, your consultant is in Bangalore, or you are anywhere in the city or in India. So that's something that we have added to our bouquet, and we are expecting this to be a positive side of COVID. Obviously, when we are consulting and people are suffering from that, so that impact our revenues. But still, we are expecting with these positive sides to be a good 2021, which is now
All right.
happening.
Thank you, sir. I would just request the presenters to keep it a little short. Over to Pramod, sir.
We are into the data analytics business, and data analytics business is boomed up actually in this during COVID period. But at the same time, many companies, they came up with a reduction of cost. That is the scenario, and we implemented according to the customer's will. But if I look at the macroeconomy, then this COVID has impacted the life of many people in many ways. If I take the kids of newborn kids of 1 year 2 year kids, that is the time they have the biggest impression in their life. They negotiate with the friends. That is missing for them. If I take the older generation, 70 plus or the senior citizen, super senior citizens, they are left alone. So they are in a dilemma. Now they are in a depression. So these are the problems. Apart from the economic problem I'm coming up, which is, SMEs, they have closed down the business. Many people, they have no job with them. But this will improve definitely over a period of time in coming next 6 8 months. I definitely believe in that. But apart from that, if we look the brighter side of this COVID, what they have taught us is, like, people have started, as Harshil said very rightly, the meetings are reduced. There's no territory barrier now. So these are the plus point. So that means the adoption of the digital economy has taken up very well during this time. The biggest example I give is the education. The college and schools are running, seamlessly over a period of time, 6 8 months, or even over a period of 11 months, I'll say, by now, barring some of the government schools where the students don't have the facility of the smartphone or the laptop, these kind of things. I understand that. But nevertheless, majority of the students, they are not affected as far as the studies are concerned. So if it has to be adopted, let's say in a normal scenario, it would have been tough task. There will be opposition from the teachers, schools, management, parents, students. Everyone would have objected it, but it has taken up very smoothly. Similarly, the e-commerce, it has picked up. Consulting business, it has picked up digitally. And not least the payment system. This seamless now. No one is complaining. No one is saying that there is a lesser currency available right now. So coming back to our business of data science, we used to do the providing the consulting to the many of our clients. But over the period of time, clients, because of the COVID situation and all these things, they said we want to reduce the cost. We came up, with a solution of on-demand services. That means they don't have to hire the resources. They don't have to hire they don't have to buy the costly tools of the data sciences. We start providing them on demand ad hoc. Let's say small SME company of 200 crore or 50 crore, even I'll say 50 crore is good amount at this point in time. They have data with them, but they don't know how to use that data. We provide them the services in that case. You give us the problem area, we'll solve it, and we'll charge you for that particular service. That may be for 2 months, 3 months. So company SMEs, they can take a decision making on that front. So reducing the cost and of the our services, plus the biggest advantage of data science is to optimize the profit, to increase the profit, and to reduce the cost. Either of these two things. Business,
Alright.
look only these two.
Alright.
Businessman never go for the fancy things. He will go if there is a value for it. If there is a profit or the money return is there. So that is
Thank you,
what we are
Pramod sir.
providing
We'll
at a
get back to
lower
you.
rate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Over to Taranjit sir.
Hi, very good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Uh, we primarily what we saw with COVID coming in was the first 2 months was, I think, license based because that time the whole harvesting was happening. So I kind of was on the field in that time. But after June, what we have seen is a massive activity both internally within the organization as well as externally in terms of the demand for agriculture technologies. As you would have seen in the last 10 months, one of the maximum investments that have happened is agriculture itself, because there's so much of scope now to ensure that our food is safe and it is devoid of any human interventions or subjectivity. And that's where, as AgNext, our technology is now getting, I would say, huge demand from every sector. We have also gotten demands to grow across Asia. We just closed a large deal with Indonesia. So what we had seen is digitization externally in the agribusiness value chains has gone like anything post the COVID, post the pandemic, where there were no infrastructure where we can just depend on people. So as much of mechanization, as much of digitization is what we had seen has totally changed agriculture in the. It's a total different world externally in agribusiness. Internally, what we had done is, since it involved a lot of movements, a lot of our team members also got COVID during this time. Thankfully, everyone is safe. But it also told us, how to operate in these circumstances. And internally, I think we have probably put everything into data-driven activity. Every task, every activity. Now we have taken suits like Zoho entirely for maintaining every activity. We have entirely become data-driven performance, which we were not looking at the pre-COVID times. So I think it's a total change of internal and external, looking of how do we operate in this scenario.
I get it.
And I think it has just helped us as a startup a lot.
Wonderful.
And what we are seeing is we are just kind of starting to exploit the all the disturbances that had happened because of COVID. We are trying to now heal that using the right technology in agriculture.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for those valuable inputs, dear lovely panelists. I think at this juncture, I would like to do a very fun activity online. See, as the word code is predominant for the last 1 year, one of the other phenomenon or the jargon that came in was the culture of work from home. Right, so the entire world has been working from home, which we never thought of. Right now, I would like to understand from you, entrepreneurs, what would be the best suitable model that would work for your business? Is it going to be a conventional office setup, or is it going to be work from home, or is it going to be hybrid? But instead of speaking this time, we're going to have a small activity. So if you think that the office setup is going to work, raise your left thumb. If it's going to be work from home, raise your right thumb. And if you think the hybrid is going to be the future, just say namaste. So what would be your opinion? Is it going to be office, or is it going to be work from home, or is it going to be hybrid? Okay, thank you, sir. Mohit sir and Sanjeev sir says it's hybrid. Okay, Harshil sir says it's hybrid. Pramod sir, what would be the
I
best?
also said hybrid. I folded my hand earlier also.
Okay.
I'm doing it again.
Okay. All right, sir. Right. Wonderful.
I think this is unanimous. Everyone said this is a hybrid.
Yes. Yes, sir. Unanimously, it's hybrid. What, sir, about your business? How did COVID impact your business, sir?
Come again?
How did COVID impacted your business?
Yeah, actually, during lockdown, production was almost zero. So for first 3-4 months, we were struggling to almost restart the business. But from September onwards, demand started rising in the market. We are into the LED lighting business. Prior to that, it was almost dead, but now it's gaining quite a lot. The good thing is that earlier we have to go to our clients, our customers physically. We have to meet them, but now we can do part of a job on online also. But online cannot push back the physical meetings also, because when we are in negotiation with the client, so kind of an impact that a cup of coffee brings, that cannot be done online.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for those valuable inputs. I think moving on further, there is something interesting that I would love to understand from everyone. But before that, I would like to ask our business leader from Tata Telebusiness Services, Sanjeev sir, what is your opinion regarding the hybrid working model?
So when this COVID broke out, I mean, probably we were fortunately part of this essential services, and there was a lot of demand in terms of the organization, because organizations were looking forward to redesign their infrastructure as well as their demands. But we never knew that different states has had different laws, because there was a lot of the barrier in terms of the movement, and of course there was since there was a high demand in terms of the bandwidth came across, and we really need to work it out on our network planning. So limited set of resources were there, and because of the movement, and we really need to ensure that people should cover up all the demand as well. So then we decided that what is going to be the way forward on that, and probably on that period we decided that let's try and arrange a kind of a scenario where all demands can be fulfilled, and that worked pretty well. And probably the productivity, we ensured that the productivity should not get loosened up as well, so that also been done. Now what we have done that probably if you'll ask us, we had a pretty huge office. We have vacated that office. We have moved to a co-working space, considering the fact that the people who are not carrying a customer facing scenario will be working from home, and people who are there at carrying a customer facing kind of a business, that they will continue coming to office as well. It's a kind of a the blend which we have created, and it's working pretty well for us. So probably we feel that this model is going to continue for a longer period. This was being decided by a lot of organization earlier as well, that they wanted to move to a hybrid model, but never done that. But COVID gave us an opportunity to extract this and try to see that as a model, whether this can work or not. but this is working pretty well. And I think so all the panelists has also said it that, this is going to work for a longer period, and they have also seen, the result out of it. So I'm sure, this is going to stick for a longer period.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for that lovely input, Sanjeev, sir. Now, moving forward, during this lockdown, I'd like to understand what was one technology adoption you took to ensure your business continuity, right? So, requesting the speakers to keep it short. One technology that you adopted to ensure business continuity. I'd like to start with Harshil, sir.
Actually, as already mentioned, when we talk about finance and tax consulting, everybody like to either visit office, either our team is visiting to the client or clients are visiting us. Now we have the challenge was now after COVID, we cannot move. Then we have implemented Microsoft Teams for our office. And now I'll tell you exact scenario. Now I would say 90% plus clients are satisfied in a way they get all the meetings closed as soon as they can. For example, otherwise what happens when we talk about physical meeting, so that delays the activities. If a client says that we have to meet, then we will check our calendars. I have to check my team's calendar, then we will schedule it, let's say 2 days down the line or something like that. But now since we are working from home, that scenario has given a lot of advantages and positive side to the client ki theek hai, now they can have whenever they want at a comfortable time. Means within 24 hours we have seen that we are able to schedule all the meetings. So that's the one technology that we have seen is good one for us.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, sir. Over to Taranjeet, sir. One technology that you used to ensure business continuity. Taranjeet, sir.
I think one tool that we used for business continuity was definitely mapping our entire people working from home.
Okay.
Extremely critical, and we had, since we are a very very technology company, we had to focus a lot on ensuring that we use Jira along with, let's say, Zoho, to integrate each and every task, so that our multiple teams of computer vision, spectral, and artificial intelligence, they all work in tandem. Earlier they were all sitting in one office and kind of working, but with this kind of scenario where technology needed to be developed, we needed a very very strong integration of tools, and that's how we found that Zoho, along with Jira, uh, kind of worked amazingly well for us, with a bit of Flock integration that we used.
Thank you, Taranjeet, sir. Mohit, sir.
Yeah.
So that one technology you adopted to ensure business continuity, what was it, sir?
Yeah, of course, almost most of the persons must be using WhatsApp talk, WhatsApp videos, but at the same time, we used Zoom a lot. Then earlier, we were not that much dependent on computers, but now we are focusing more on ERPs. We are getting ERP developed from a company, and we are now more focusing. In fact, it is more like getting into the system,
Thank you,
which is
thank you,
good.
thank you. Thank you, thank you. Ramon, sir?
Yeah, we were using earlier also, and presently also we are using the Slack, which is integrating all our resources among each other.
Okay. Amazing. Thank you. Thank you. It's really wonderful to see that the entrepreneurs are using one way or the other regarding the technology and adopting it very quickly, to ensure business continues and giving a strong statement out that nothing stops us. Now, what we're talking about the adoption of technology, what were the challenges you faced while adopting to the digital normal? Right? So we all adopted some way or the other towards the digital normal slowly. So what were the challenges that you faced when adopting this lifestyle? I would like to start with Taranjeet, sir.
Pardon me, can you just repeat the question here?
So the challenges you faced while adopting the digital normal.
I think the challenges were primarily with getting the team to use it on, from a normal, I think, face-to-face interaction to entirely that was the biggest challenge, and also to structure the initial tools into one interface. I think we were not prepared to have multiple platforms, multiple emails, multiple, I would say, ERPs, etc., to integrate our work. So that was a biggest challenge. The integration was a key thing to offset that challenge, and that really worked if you have tools which work together and provide one neat interface for operating of the teams. So I think these are the two: adoption and interaction, which is very, very important for us to, overcome.
Sure. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Pramod, sir.
In our business, there is a large data which comes from the client, and to analyze that data is a big pain area. And client will not, like to share the complete data set with the team. So we started, using the some tools like VPN tools like Citrix and things like that with the client. But these are the costly tools, VMware, Citrix. But somehow this is the only way where you can keep the securities and give the confidence to the client that data is safe with them, not with us.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Pramod, sir. Over to Mohit, sir.
Yeah, actually, we are more into the production. We are MSME, so the biggest challenge is to train our staff, which is not very highly educated guys. Training them, although they know how to operate the computers, but training them on ERPs, it was a tough task. But now we are okay.
Okay.
We have crossed that period.
Amazing, sir. Wonderful. Thank you for the lovely input. Over to Harshil, sir.
For us, bringing that work culture while working at home was an important issue, because in our scenario, generally team are used to in physical things. So maintaining that, keeping training them into a way so that they can understand and plan out that okay, things are going to work in a perfect scenario while working from home from all these softwares that we are using. Another challenge that I have seen, I hope every speaker will agree to it, whenever we have made some new hirings and that new employee of our organization was not able to mingle in this work from home situation. That is another challenge that we have seen. People are not able to, because the team that was working previously in physical offices, they understand each other. So a scenario, a positive, everybody understand each other's bandwidth, how they work and their how they discuss the things. But for new employees, this is the challenge that we have seen in work from home.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, lovely panelists, for all this wonderful input. Now, when talking about work from home culture or adopting to the digital normal, the one thing which we all see in the rise of threat is the cyber security. Now, I would like to understand from Sanjeev sir from Tata Energy Business Services, why has cyber security become even bigger threat in the virtual or remote work environment, and to what extent have businesses been able to deal with these threats?
So, securing your business has taken over a whole new meaning, and we really need to understand that cyber threats are real and carries a financial impact, right? If you see any analysis being done by cyber security agencies, and the cyber crimes are going to be cost around $6 trillion worldwide by 2021. So they are not only damaging on the financial perspective, but having said that, also denting the company productivity and intellectual property and the image as well. So companies are not required to take these damages. They're required to be a bit proactive and vigilant in terms of their IT transformation, right? And I would say that as a learning and as a practice, we have seen that the large enterprises are usually take care of cover up these things. But if we talk about the SMB market, they are a bit slow on this, but yes, they are taking a leap to it. And I would say that if they will adopt a simple strategies, they can really get into this where they can secure their business. So one is that they can create a secured system If I talk about this secure system, it doesn't mean that you are just required to secure your devices, but this is more of a accountability need to be created among your employees as well. And how you can create the accountability, you really need to enhance their skill set, as rightly picked up by Mohit ji, that since there are a lot of their employees are not well educated, so probably they are required to be trained. They're required to be trained with best of the IT practices, which talks about that, boss, why this such security practices adopted by organization has to be adhered to. So that can reduce a lot of threats which are coming across on the cyber perspective. Then the organization, if it, on the SMB perspective, again I would say that the data backup, if you talk about today, I being a a YouTuber, and I use a a YouTube a lot, and I take a backup of my videos as well. So similarly, organizations also required to take care of your the backup of their data, right? And the critical projects which they are doing. So they can really do it by adoption of the cloud services. Now this has become pretty cheap, and I would say that during this COVID period, there are a lot of the cloud services has come into the picture. So adoption of cloud is really taking a next leap as well within SMB as well, and that can be done. And I would say that the companies really need to start investing into their IT infrastructure as well. So when I say that the IT infrastructure investment, it means that really need to secure yourself, not only on the part of your firewall or on the end device, or probably on the part of antiviruses, but you really need to keep on updating them. So don't shy away on the part of investing into the part of your IT infrastructure. That's very, very critical for the organization.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much, Sanjeev sir, for that lovely input and your advice on investing in IT infrastructure. So talking about the investing part, or talking about the solutions part, what was one enterprise solution you think that would enhance your business? So that is what I would like to understand from the speakers. The question is, what kind of enterprise solutions you feel can enhance your productivity? One enterprise solution that you feel can enhance your productivity. I would like to start with Pramod this time. Pramod, are you with us?
See, in our business, we work for the clients with the large data and provide the solutions to them. Or we have a marketplace called Cognetics, where the data scientist comes, and smaller and big size companies, they do come over there to leave the projects, and the bidding starts by the freelancers. So we are creating the entrepreneur. So companies, the SMEs or the big companies, they have a fear of losing the data or the results which are coming if they're being shared by the data scientists, which are the freelancers, not our employees. Then who is responsible for that? That is the biggest challenge with us. So to secure us economically, we have taken the insurance. That is the one part, but that is not the close of the business, because we cannot run away from our responsibility. So the only solution is to have a secure clouds, right? As Taranji said, they are in this business. So we also do this kind of thing. And to make it more secure, if the companies are ready to invest some more money in the secure VPN, tunnels, and having the tools like VMware or Citrix, that will be the only solution, I'll say. And security is not, the only threat. This is just like a thief and cop, which will keep on having all the time. You have to fight with this. And even the bigger site like NASA or the nuclear power stations, they're also threatened by this. So we have to live with this.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Pramod. So over to Mohit, sir.
Yeah. Actually, we have to be more understanding and more innovative about the things like CRMs, ERPs, softwares like Salesforce, or Salesforce is quite very high, but we have to look at some other aspects also available for MSMEs. Like for our industry, there's a ERP called PCB Genie, which we are implementing in our offices and factories. So we have to more dependent on such tools, and we have to make sure that all our managers and our employees, they should be convenient with these tools also. They should be educated and trained sufficiently to use these tools also. So then we will be do much better. Even either working from home, even a new term I'll say, working from inside the car.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
amazing. So that's definitely a new term to hear about.
Yeah.
Over to Harshil, sir.
uh, we think that it's not about a technology or this COVID. What we understand and our success mantra is just try to measure the change and react to it. That is the most important thing, and that can work for all the scenarios. For now, COVID is happening, lot of things are happening in business. When we talk about, my father used to have a grocery shop long back. Now what is the scenarios? All the grocery shops are converted into departmental stores, and this is going to be the future. Now if somebody is reacting to that situation, then things will automatically change for you. Otherwise you will say, Ki, sir, we have given our best effort, still we are not getting the results. This is perfectly quoted by Benjamin Franklin, that change is the only constant thing in life. So just be ready
Okay.
to adopt it.
Wonderful, sir. Thank you so much for that lovely input to all the lovely panelists. Moving forward, I would like to understand what was one strategy that you adopted that worked well for your business. So we as an entrepreneurs are always trying to look forward to what next. Like, no matter what stops us, it's always about what next. So even during the pandemic, there should have been one business strategy that you adopted which should have worked well for your business. And I would like to ask you guys to share about it. I'd like to ask Mohit sir about it.
Yeah, actually, one very important thing is that getting ourselves organized as per the demand of the market and the situation, and then look at your customers, what they need, how they need, and you have to fulfill what they demand. Say for example, earlier we have to give demos to our customers, but now we have done is that we have made a studio kind of a thing. Whatever demo we have to give, we give from there. But still, if somebody asks to go for a physical demo, then we go to give physical demo. So we have to understand that, as rightly said by the gentleman, is to understand the change and work according to the change, and that is survival also.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you, sir. Pramod sir?
Uh, I'll say the fourth revolution, which is, we are currently going in, which is called as the Industry 4.0. Almost everyone has to adopt that. That is the only way out. And in that, I'll say a few of the technology which are, highlighted, because the data is coming. There is a plenty of data. And if we can use that data by analyzing or, using it properly and for the decision making, that is the only way out. And even in our own way, I'll name few of the technologies like AI, ML, data science, cloud, 3D printing for manufacturing. Many things are there, for in the technology side. Cloud is a major most. Everyone has to adopt it one way or the other way.
All right.
So in our system, we have a small AI module which select the resources according to the client's need and suggest it according to the client's need and at the same time. And now this is a decision of the client to accept it or not. So these are the small things we have to value add to our services to make the client easy to use and to lower the cost for the operations.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you, Pramod sir. Over to Harshil sir?
For any consulting business, the biggest strength is the team, the resources. Now, what we have learned in COVID and we are going to continue forever is flexible time, working from home scenarios. It's not a full-time working from home, because this will become monotonous. A mix of working from home and office culture will be fine. And now we have seen you have to trust your employees. And like, because the biggest challenge in our head before COVID was time management. We want to give the flexible hours, but we are not able to. But due to this COVID, automatically every organization has given that thing. Then now we have seen a gain. That gain was not in few percentages. That was huge in employee productivity. You have to trust your team. That's very important.
Amazing, sir. Thank you, lovely panelists, for all this input. Now I would like to understand from Sanjeev sir, what did Tata do? That strategy Tata had that worked very well for your business. What was one strategy Tata adopted?
So, as the once this the COVID broke out, and probably I've been working with this organization for almost for 10 years now. So probably, am I audible? And yeah. So when I've been working with this organization for almost for 10 years, and when this the COVID broke out, then we thought that was what should be the way forward, and probably we were looking forward for in terms of coming across a new set of product line and new set of services. In last 8 to 9 months, I would say that we launched almost 9 to 10 new different products and the variation versions of our the product line, considering the fact of the requirement of the organization, since they are looking forward to work for a longer period on the the work from home perspective. So all those things has been launched from our side just to support the all the organization. So understanding the market as far as the requirement on an essential perspective, we have done pretty well on that, and we are doing fairly well to it. Having said that, what should be the way forward for us? The way forward is very, very clear. We really need to continue working on the part of considering the fact of the requirement on the SMB perspective, that is on the part of secured connectivity and the security part. So that is something where we are looking forward for, and we are the variation is very much available for all the the SMB customers.
Thank you, Tanjeet sir. That is lovely to hear from you. Now, I think we are moving forward for a lot more interesting or a personal question at this juncture. So, what do you read or watch on day-to-day basis to get your business updates? And who's your biggest influencer or your inspiration in business? So that will be the last question for the day. So the question goes like, what do you read or watch to get business updates? And who is your biggest influencer or inspiration with regards to business? I would like to start with Mohit.
Yeah, actually, we now more surf on Google. We now more study what's going worldwide. And one thing is very good is that earlier, whenever wherever any exhibition or a trade show is there, then we have to go there physically. But now most of the trade shows are virtual. Whether it's a trade show being organized in Frankfurt or in New York or in New Delhi, it's now virtual, which is very, very easily accessible now. So now I don't miss any trade show. I go there, I'll see them, I get to know what's going new worldwide, and from there it gets easier to adopt.
Wonderful, sir. So is there any inspiration or influencer to you with regards to business, sir?
My biggest influencer is, of course, Ratan Tata.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir. Or to Pramod, sir.
For us, the biggest influencer are our customers. On the both side, we have on the one side the freelancers, data scientists, who aspire to be entrepreneur, because right now I feel the need of the hour for India is not to create the job only, but to create the entrepreneur who further can create 4, 5, 10, 50, 100 jobs. That change we require. We require millions of entrepreneur, small entrepreneur. They can lead the country. On the other side, the companies who are our client, who put the assignments, we have to look their needs, and we balance these two parties on our platform, which is a marketplace, and try to be arbitrator to solve their problems. And during that time, we learn a lot from both sides.
All right. Thank you, sir. Over to Harshal, sir.
What I love when I meet a new people, I try to get one thing that he is good at. So that when we talk about influencer, you have mentioned, so I'm meeting, if anybody I have met 2-3 times, then he is a kind of an influencer to me. But I follow in general Elon Musk, who became the world's richest man now. It's not about how he is the richest man. It's about, if you have seen what changes he has done from east to west, from a particular Tesla they are making now, SpaceX, the adaptability to changes. That's the most important thing that I love about him. And when what I read, because you understand we are into tax and finance solutions, so we are involved in lot of changes are happening. So we are not getting much time other than our core tax books. But still, I would love to read productivity books, just like Robin Sharma, 5am Club. Though I am still not following 7 days a week, I'm following, try to follow 3-4 times a week. So that's something we are reading, productivity books.
All right, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Over to Tajit, sir. Your view upon it, sir.
So for us, our biggest influencers are customers. They keep us, our toes. They really, expect us, going out of the league and out of the box to think about it, and their requirements comes across on a regular basis. So we really see a market as an opportunity. So our customers are the really opportunity and influencer for us. So that's the first part. Second, of course, Mr. Ratan Tata and Dr. APJ Kalam are, my true inspiration.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for all those lovely inputs, dear panelists. We would like to end this session on a very positive note. I would like to understand from you guys for one last time, how do you foresee the second half of 2021 post the unlock? The second half of 2021, the vaccine is here. So we are all into the unlock phase. So how do you foresee the financial year closing? Over to Pramod, sir.
See, if I take the financial year closing, I'll say a lot of boom will be there. Even the current, the third quarter of the companies which are coming up, the results. There are many, many companies giving positive results, with good profits and all this thing, growth also, and the good, numbers also. And if I take on the scientific side, where I'm very positive, because the case of the COVID vaccine developed in 8-9 months, and the technology they have used is a different technology they have used to develop the vaccine this time throughout the world. And many countries, around 20-25 vaccines have come up. So during this short time, otherwise the vaccine coming up and for using for the human being, it takes 3 to 5 years. So we have cut down the time. I'm very positive because these kind of, viruses will keep on coming and many vaccines are required further also. So this is a great learning and I believe in a great future for the mankind. The only problem is the politicians, leave about them. Otherwise, the scientific community is doing great job and we should be thankful to them.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Pramod, sir. That was very positive to hear from you. Over to Harshal, sir.
For me, when we talk about what Pramod has mentioned about this growth numbers that are coming, what I have seen, I was just studying some automobile numbers because the numbers was zero or negligible for almost like 3 to 6 month time. So that may be a result of that we are seeing a growth numbers. Still, if organization as an organization, if somebody has adopted to the technology wise or whatever, it depends. For example, Mohit has mentioned that in factories they are implementing ERPs. So they have seen in the past that they are not able to do because of physical presence. So if we are able to adopt these technologies and these all changes, then definitely we are going to grow for sure. No matters what about this quarter or next, but definitely as a long run, this will be a growth potential for each business who can adopt the changes. That's what my take is.
Wonderful, sir. Thank you. Thank you for that lovely input. Over to Mohit, sir.
Yeah, actually that now the things are moving very fast, growing very fast in our industry. We were earlier threatened by Chinese imports, but now Chinese imports are getting slow. Now we are more getting involved into the productions. Demand is booming like never been before. And the most important thing is that earlier in electronics we were more into the assembling, but now from assembling we're going to the manufacturing. And I heard that Tata is coming up with a Silicon Valley in somewhere near Chennai, which is a great news for our country. This will really put our country into the 5th gear. Really great.
Thank you, Mohit, sir. Tanjeet, sir, your point.
So, in last 8-9 months, we have seen that the organizations were holding back the decisions, right? And this was more of a mode where they were trying to sustain. So I think so the sustainable period is over. So organizations are really looking forward to take the decision on the growth perspective. As the panels members are talking about the digitization and further part of adoption of new technology. So maybe they have thought about it 1 year back, but somehow because of this COVID they were holding back such decisions. So I would say that it is going to be pretty bright 2021 for all of us, considering the fact the vaccination is already there. So people are not carrying that more of a hitch of coming to office or probably moving out into the market. But yes, the growth factor would be there. Organizations are going to take their decisions, and we can expect pretty happy 2021 for all of us.
All right. Thank you, Tanjeet sir. Maybe a little more. I'd like to interact with you since you're all really wonderful with your insights. What is your biggest stress buster? So what do you do when you're absolutely at stress? So I would like to understand maybe from Harshil sir, what is your biggest stress buster?
For me, the biggest stress buster is my family. I have a daughter, 2-year-old daughter, and I love to be with her during whatever is happening in my head. If I'm with her for 15 minutes, that's the biggest stress buster for me.
Wonderful, Harshil sir. You have a family man with us. Or to Pramod sir?
See, I'm a sportsman otherwise by nature. I prefer to go for a squash game for 45 minutes or 1 hour. That is a passion I have also. And this has taught me one very good lesson in the management actually. We always feel our competitor. In all the sports or in the business, we feel the competition. Who is on the other side? But this is the one game in the world where the competition or my opponent is on my side. And in business also, I feel all my competition or the opponent, they should be on my side. Rather than I am competing with them, why not I collaborate with them?
Wonderful, sir. Wonderful. Mohit sir, what is your biggest stress buster?
Meditation. Yeah.
Amazing, sir. Meditation is your stress buster. Great, sir. Tanjeet sir?
So I'm more of a fitness freak, so probably like doing a lot of running and hitting a gym every day. It's something really push me up and really gives me a positive energy if while coming to office.
Wonderful, sir. Amazing. So it has been a lovely interaction with all the panelists here. So the insights were really, really interesting, and some of it, even I thought of implementing it in my own business. So I think with this, we are at the fag end of the session. I now request Tanjeet sir, business leader from Tata Telebusiness Services, to deliver a short closing remarks.
So thanks to all the panel members for their valuable time and really interactive and knowledgeable session. Thank you so much, and thank you to the organizing committee as well for this wonderful session. Since we are from a connectivity company, so my only request over here is stay connected, and wishing you all a great 2021. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tanjeet sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, all the lovely panelists, for being here with us for the last 60 minutes, delivering such an interesting and insightful inputs. I'm very sure to, looking forward for a very profitable days to come in the upcoming days. Wishing each and every one of you all success in your endeavors. This is me, Muthu, signing off. Until next time, in another wonderful episode of Rising to the Challenge Using Technologies. Thank you so much, lovely panelists. Have a great week ahead.